The mountains have a cruel way of swallowing a man whole, and for Elias, an experienced hiker who usually found solace in the jagged peaks and whispering pines, the wilderness had suddenly transformed from a sanctuary into a sprawling, suffocating tomb. As the sun dipped below the horizon with an unnatural, sickly haste, leaving behind a sky stained in bruised purples and ominous oranges, his compass needle began to spin lazily as if the very magnetic poles of the earth had abandoned him in his moment of direst need. Lost in a place where the trees seemed to lean in with jagged teeth, and the shadows grew longer and more predatory with every passing second, his flashlight, a dying heartbeat in his palm, flickered against a thick, encroaching veil of fog, until, miraculously, a skeletal structure emerged from the gloom. A cabin, hunched in a clearing like a wounded, rotting animal. He didn't knock, but the door groaned open at his touch on rusted, complaining hinges, revealing an interior that smelled of stagnant earth and a metallic tang that made his blood run cold even before his beam illuminated a single, pristine bed sitting out of place in the center of the room. But it was the walls that truly froze his soul, for they were entirely covered from floor to ceiling with dozens of grotesque, dark-framed portraits of people with elongated necks, hollowed-out eyes, and smiles that reached too far back toward their ears, all of them staring with a fixed, hateful intensity at the very bed where he was forced to seek refuge. Elias tried to whisper to the oppressive silence that it was just the eccentric, twisted art of a dead hermit. Yet as he climbed under the dusty quilt, he could feel those painted eyes boring into his skull, watching him through the dark until sheer, soul-crushing exhaustion finally dragged him into a feverish sleep, haunted by dreams of invisible hands reaching out from the frames to touch his skin. He awoke with the first grey, mocking light of dawn, feeling a sense of relief wash over him as he prepared to laugh at his own midnight cowardice, only to look at the wall and find his heart stopping in mid-beat. The portraits were gone, every single one of them, and in their place were nothing but clean, clear windows. In that moment of ultimate shattering realization, Elias understood that the frames hadn't held paintings at all, but were the glass boundaries to the world outside. And the hideous, smiling faces he had watched all night weren't art. They were real, living entities pressed against the glass, watching him sleep from the darkness. And they were still out there,